So you're going to want to get your drip stopper. You're going to need 6 of them here. And if you're changing the head, you're going to need 12 so that you can plug all of your dampers. So let's just say we need to get to the back damper to prime right now. So you're going to pull out, let's say that I just needed to prime. I see air in the line in this one here, okay, in the far right damper. You don't need to pull out all the dampers to get to it, but you get your damper stopper, or your drip stopper, sorry, and you can take out the first, until you can actually get to it to prime comfortably. So we might have to just pull out maybe the first 3. So of course you would pull this out, put your drip stopper on, pull the next one out, put your drip stopper on, and now, because your drip stoppers are on, there's no mess here. You can just kind of freely move these around. And now I can get to the one to prime it. So if I just needed to get to this one here, I could pull that out safely here. There's enough space, I don't have to pull out all of them. And then I can prime from here. And then do my priming from here. And then of course put it back nice and carefully into place. And then if these could go back, I prime them when I put them back. So I'll give it a quick little prime just to make sure that I do get the air out. And then of course I'll put them back in place. So that is if you're changing or you just need to prime a damper. You kind of only just move what you need accordingly. But if you have air in like this line and air in this line for some reason, then you may have to just pull out them all. So just get your drip stoppers, drip stop them all, pull them out, and prime accordingly, and then put everything back. So in this case, so now we're going to change the head. Changing head 2, your white, you would just drip stop all of your white and then change your head. But the harder one is head 2 to change. So in this video, I'm going to show you the harder one to change. And once you can change head 1, head 2 becomes really easy at that point. So again, you're going to drip stop all of your dampers straight across. Drip stop, drip stop. You can put the clips too if you want for extra measure, like that. You can put the clips on, but the clips are for maintenance, for changing your damper. So if you ever have to change a damper, you can just stop above it, cut, change damper, and then put it back on. So that's what the clips are for, is for the maintenance on changing dampers. The drip stoppers will stop the drip completely, and then you can move everything. So now we'll move all these aside. So they kind of want to go over and get out of your way. So just let them kind of slide over and get out of your way, and just sneak them over beside your printer head like that. And just as best you can, just kind of manipulate it until you get it to the best way it is. So we want to change head 2. So I would just move these hoses and dampers aside. And then of course, we don't need to touch head 1 if we're changing head 2. So to change head 2, we would drip stop all of our dampers here, and then we're going to pull out head 2 and change, and we're going to start with head 2 and actually put a printer head in there. So again, we're going to pull all these out. You're going to drip stop each one as you pull them out. Drip stop, drip stop. And so now once all of your dampers are out and they're drip stopped, like this, I kind of take one at a time, and if you can, just put it beside it. So let me come down a little bit here so you can get a better angle. Oops, a little too far. So right there. Okay. So what you kind of want to do is I start with the far right one, and then I'll just kind of put it over. And there's a little control here. So just kind of move it and kind of tuck it behind it nice and neatly. You've got your drip stopper on there, so there's no drips. Again, take your next one, kind of tuck it beside and behind there. And you're gonna do that with each one straight across. So just keep going. Next one, again. Next one, in. And then your next one. Okay, so once you get them all out of the way and aside, nice and slow and safely. Don't be pushing or anything or shoving them down. Just let them kind of fall into place and just gently push back on each one until they all go in right alongside. So now we have access to head one. Okay, so to get the head off, with the front two, so there's 4 screws on each head, 2 at the front and then 2 in the back inside behind this back wall shield thing here on it. So there's 4 in total, and what you want to do is you want to get a stubby, and then you want to get a really long handled screwdriver. Okay, so the stubby one is to get, so for the stubby one I use for head 2 and the front of head 1. There's 2 screws at the front, and that's what I use at the front here. So I use the small one for that, and then to get to the back ones, I'll show you that now. I use the long-handled screwdriver. I sneak through the top panel. Let me just move this over a bit so you see. So there's the top panel there, and you got to sneak through the top, and then you'll come in like this. So there I am there. Let me just zoom in a little bit there. Okay, so now you're gonna come in, and then you're just gonna get those 2 screws there. Like that, and then just unscrew the 2 screws. One, you may have to just move around a little bit to get to the other one, and then 2. So get those 2 out, the 2 back ones with the long handled screwdriver. Okay, so now this is before any heads are in, but you're gonna have cables running up each side, so it'll be a little bit more impedance, but there's just cables. So do the same thing. You're just kind of moving the cables over. You're gonna unplug so head 1 and head 2 are both plugged in. There's a cable running up and into the top. You're gonna come up to the top head. You're gonna have cables plugged into here. You're gonna unplug. So this is head 2, and this is head 1. So if you're changing head 2, white is here, head 1 color is here. So in this case, we'll be pulling out these 2 cables. And you have to also make sure they go in the right way, but we'll get to that when we install. So the 2 cables would come out, of course. Let me get some more light back in here. And then once you have your screws loose, so just pull it out nice and safely. And as you're pulling it out, the cables will come out with it as long as they're unplugged from the top. Pull that out, and now you're ready to change your head. Now, over time, of course, when you pull this out, it's going to be a little bit dirty in there. So what you're going to want to do is grab a foam tip and some moisturizer or blue stuff and wipe all inside there. Get that nice and clean. There may be a little bit of crusty, dry ink there. Just scrape that out. You can also use a plastic scraper, one of the vinyl plastic scrapers to scrape that, but mostly blue and paper towel will get that off. So and a foam tip. So just give that a good little scrub before you put your new head in. And now let's get to putting on your new head.